Hi, I'm Joe Heath.
I'm Toni Heath.
And this is the Watch-A-Thon of Rassilon. Today we're going to be talking about the Daleks Master Plan.
All 12 episodes of it.
It's the 21st serial overall. I don't know what it is in Season 3. This website does not say. But it consists of 12 episodes, which are The Nightmare Begins, Day of Armageddon, Devil's Planet, The Traitors, Counterplot, Coronas of the Sun, The Feast of Stephen, Volcano, Golden Death, Escape Switch, The Abandoned Planet, and The Destruction of Time, which aired from November 13th, 1965 to January 29th, 1966. This shit spanned the course of a year. Well, not a year, but it went from one year to another. God, it's long. It's so long. And that was a Joe fact, by the way.
Are you sure it didn't last a year? It felt like a year. Are you serious right now?
It felt like it lasted a year.
Are you serious
but it was,
right
what is this, like 3 months?
He is not responding because he is texting.
I'm texting Chris Cherry because he's wrong about time travel.
Oh my god. I asked if you could let it go long enough for us to record a podcast.
Okay,
so,
I'm just going to text him right now and say, I got to record a podcast.
We're doing it now, man! The time to have done that was like 20 minutes ago.
But, okay, we're talking about the time travel episode of Comedy Bang Bang.
No,
television
we're
series.
talking about...
No, I mean me and Chris are, and I just said BRB recording a podcast, okay? I'm sorry.
Jesus.
But it's upsetting me because I can't get my point across.
Jeez, let it go, man.
I know, but he's wrong.
Is he?
Probably.
You know what? Just to fuck with you, I'm gonna say he's right.
We're gonna watch the episode after we finish recording.
God. We probably really honestly are. That's the annoying thing.
Okay, so yes, let's talk about the Daleks Master Plan, shall we?
Can we?
Yes.
Alright.
I want to say that it's 12 episodes. 3 episodes exist. 9 do not. I don't even think the 9 had existing footage, even. Do you remember any existing footage?
Some of them did, but the majority of them I feel like did not. Some of them had like little 3D modeled Daleks.
Oh yeah, well that's still a reconstruction. That's not existing footage.
No.
That's new footage.
But I was just like, something's moving!
I'm pleased.
This is exciting!
Oh my goodness, this serial.
I don't even know, like, you're gonna have to walk me through the actual plot of, like, the first 6 episodes. There's so much nothing contained within them that I can't tell you what actually happens. Like, I know we're on Earth.
Right.
Or not Earth. The planet that we were on in the, that one-off.
Kimball.
We're back.
Yeah, this is... Okay, so yeah, it's 12 episodes, and it's a follow-up to that 1 episode, so this is like a 13-episode travesty.
13-episode travesty. We're back on Kimball, and we're with, like, another group that was in the same situation as the group that was in the one-off, but they died. So this is just new people doing the same thing.
But over 12 fucking episodes.
No, because they died too eventually.
Yeah, that's true.
So they've spotted the Daleks. But it blows my mind that it's like, oh, we killed those guys, but we needed them. So we'll just say another group crash landed here and are doing the exact same thing as their group before them. That seems needlessly complicated, but okay. It's your thing. I'll go along with it.
I don't even know what I was going to say. It's just a mess. It's a mess. Is what it is.
It is a mess. It's a huge mess. You're trying to figure out what happens from the point that I just described, aren't you?
No.
Like, desperately. Well,
no.
Can you tell me? Because
I was just looking to see if there's any, like, notes, like, in the wiki that would be interesting to talk about. It's weird.
Why don't you do this before?
I know, I generally do, but I was arguing about time travel and Comedy Bang Bang. There's 12 episodes. 1 through 5 and 7 are written by Terry Nation. 6 and 8 through 12 are written by Dennis Spooner.
Which is, like, suspicious to me.
It's weird.
That someone was like, no, just skip it here.
Like, why is it 1 through 6 and then 7 through 12? Why is it 1 through 5 and 7 and then 6 and 8 through 12? Is one of those
the Christmas?
One of them is, I think it's episode, I want to say 7 is the Christmas episode.
Well, there you go. That's probably why.
Let's get into it, I guess.
I'm trying over here on my own.
So let's start with the first episode, The Nightmare Begins, which it does for us. And I will say, part of it is that it's too long. It really is. But part of it is that it doesn't exist, and that's not its fault.
Yeah, I'm really frustrated in that there's episodes, because the serial overall is entirely too long, and that would make it wobbly on its own. But there were episodes that I know that I would have liked had they existed. But non-existing is kind of like, I can't really tell what's going on, and I'm bored. And so that is a thing that's not fair to this episode, but...
And another problem is that, yeah, it's doing the same story as Mission to the Unknown. That it has to, like, redo it from the top, but with this time with the Doctor. But it's also doing the chase at the same time. Yeah, pretty much the exact same story. The same setup and everything. So we left off, Stephen is poisoned, and Katarina is keeping an eye on him while the Doctor goes to explore Kimball, I guess.
Every single time Katarina was on screen, I was like, oh yeah, her! Every single time. Which probably makes me the worst, because then eventually stuff happens, and I'm still like, oh yeah, she's there.
And then basically, we still go away from the Doctor for like a while to just get exposition. Like
the same exposition we already had.
People watching TV. There's a council. Mavic Chen, who's our bad guy, is going to this council, I guess.
He's the
guardian. They say he's on holiday, but he's going to
He's the guardian of the universe?
Universe, not the galaxy. That would be Star-Lord.
No, he's not the guardian of the universe. He's the guardian of the solar system. The solar system. That's small. That
reminds me, we said something Jess said about, they said solar system, and like, why would they call it blah, blah, blah. Like, there's many places that have suns. Vincent E.L., another one of our guests, pointed out that actually solar system is very specific to this because our sun is called Sol, S-O-L, and that's why it's solar system. So other places wouldn't have a solar system. It'd be around a sun, but wouldn't be called a solar system. More specifically called a solar system. I don't know, star system, I guess?
A star system?
Maybe. I don't remember. He said something, and I immediately forgot what he said. But there you go. That's his little
All of our friends know more things than us.
We're stupid. We get corrected. And then the person who corrected us gets corrected. And now, viewers out there, if you would like to correct Vince, it's your turn.
Right. Feel free, and we will just all continue learning things.
So, I'm just gonna... I don't remember everything that happened here, so I'm just sort of...
we decided, by the way, to do an entire,
12-part serial.
A 12-part serial all-in-one podcast, because we realized there wouldn't be enough to talk about if we split it up into two.
Because so much of it is just repeating itself. Stretching it out.
Yeah, there's an episode where it's this entire episode is just re-establishing
the previous episodes.
The previous exposition, even, that we've had already.
Half of this is exposition of the bad guy is chasing the Doctor. That's it. It's someone sending the bad guy to chase the Doctor, or the bad guy's talking about chasing the Doctor. And we know! They're the bad guys! We know they're chasing the Doctor!
So the guardian of the solar system...
Mavic Chen.
He's like, I'm gonna go away on vacation. And then he shows up at Kimball is the planet?
Kimball, yeah.
Where the Daleks and all their allies are. And he's the surprise,
the council of...
Yeah, he's the surprise council.
Member?
Yeah.
Council member? Yeah.
Yeah, he's that.
He adds some legitimacy to the place, I guess.
What does that mean?
I mean, he's seemingly a good guy, but no, he's...
Oh, I got you.
He's he can play both sides, I guess.
And he also has, I think at this point we're not, with 12 episodes, we're not making any...
Attempt to go totally linearly.
That's my question to you as the person who announces the titles of what episode we're in.
We'll try to go semi-linearly.
I'm just going to go with threads, with story threads.
He has an M of terranium.
M, is that?
That's what he said. A full M of
terranium.
Terranium. Which apparently was going to be called something else, but William Hartnell couldn't pronounce it.
Really? That's awesome.
I don't think he
terranium,
nailed it every time anyway.
Has to be harvested from Uranus.
Well, of course. Where else would you get it from?
Every single time.
Dig way down deep into Uranus.
Every single time that was mentioned, I was 6 years old. That came out of Uranus. Because I'm 8. I just thought that was really important. This terranium powers the scariest machine in all of history, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, that's jumping way
ahead, but it powers something called the Time Destructor, which doesn't sound frightening. You're just that sounds pretty bad, I guess. Destroying time.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really destroy time as much as it destroys things with time.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
So, also, we are introduced to Brett, who basically rehashes the last of what happened in the Mission of the Unknown.
Brett is the new...
He's the new,
guy who is trying to get a message back to Earth to warn them about a Dalek plot.
Basically, the same thing happens. It's him and his friend. His friend gets Vargad, and then he kills his friend, and then basically eventually bumps
It was
into
so
the
close
Doctor.
that I was literally confused.
Yeah.
I was like, didn't we already see this happen? And then we spend what is it, 3 episodes that they spend on the planet? 2 or 3?
I don't know. Let me look through the notes here, just to make sure we're not missing anything. The Doctor finds the Council. Brett enters the TARDIS. Well, they kidnap Brett for a little while.
Who?
The TARDIS team kidnaps Brett for a little while because they don't trust him, and he doesn't give them a good reason to trust him because he doesn't trust them back. And the Doctor goes off to explore, but then Brett gets on their good side by giving Steven medicine.
That's right. They have Steven's still poisoned, dying, and the Doctor's gone off to see if he can't find a city or a town or somewhere where they can have medicine. Which, doesn't make sense, because the Doctor should have better medicine on the TARDIS anyway. Why doesn't he? They tie up Brett. They have him, they don't tie him up, actually. It's a magnetic chair, which is easy, because you're just it's a regular chair, but it's super magnetic, so we don't have to build anything else. There's no more props involved than just a chair. Steven is dying from this poison, and the guy's like, will you just take these 2 tablets? I've got 2 tablets in my belt. Just give them to him, and he'll be, instantly better.
So that's what Katarina does.
After being what's a tablet?
Yeah, because Katarina, a whole shtick is, well, I don't know what anything is. Are you a god? She's just very thoroughly confused all the time.
For someone, I don't think she's nearly as confused as she could have been. I feel like she's at least somewhat clever.
But it's around this time that when this is happening, Chen meets the Daleks, because it takes them that long to get there. Mm-hmm. And then the Daleks find the TARDIS, the Doctor sees the Daleks, all this sort of happens, and that's the end of episode 1. And then we're on to episode 2, Day of Armageddon. This is the episode where we're reintroduced to the Council, which I'm pretty sure is made up of completely different characters. It's weird, because it's not the same ones from the other episode, but then
they come back.
But they come back way later. It's really weird. And then it's a weird mix of, I don't know.
So then you're wait, so where were the other people from before? Are they all the ones? I don't understand.
By the way, episode 2 exists. So it's not like they were just picking weird stills that didn't include the one. None of the ones from Mission to the Unknown are in this, I don't think.
Let's see. In this episode, we have Old Greg.
We have
We don't have Angry Trash Can. We don't have...
Evil Trash Can with eyes, you mean?
Yeah.
We don't have the thing, but he comes back later.
He comes back. We have Leech Face.
I call him Booger Guy.
Oh, Booger Guy?
It looks like he's got boogers hanging all over his face.
I thought it looked like he had leeches.
And we have the dude with the kind of like the thing, but he's got little bumps all over him. Hiss. He doesn't hiss in this episode. I don't think he talks at all. He's just sort of in the background at this point.
But when he does talk, he even if he doesn't end a sentence with an S,
he literally ends all of his statements with it's like a period. He doesn't hiss his S's really either. He just says whatever he's saying and then goes.
Which is, that's an alien thing.
Yeah. It's not any better or worse than though. What is it?
Chantho.
She started and ended every sentence with though, right? Or she just ended it?
You have to start with Chan and end with though.
Okay, so yeah, it's no worse than that, I guess.
I thought it was cute because there's that nice moment between her and Martha where Martha's like, do it just once for me, and she says no, and then she giggles, and it's so cute.
Mavic Chen's waiting for the Council to come in, and he's writing a note like a weirdo.
Oh yeah,
he has a pinky thing, a characteristic.
He holds his pencil. I don't even know how to describe it.
Guys, do you're almost about to do the Spider-Man pose. The web slinging thing. Don't curl those 2 middle fingers all the way and just sort of stick them up, but keep them separate from your pointer finger and your pinky.
Right, if you were going to do this.
No one can see that. We're on a podcast. And then just put that pencil, on the bottom side of your finger, your pointer finger and your pinky, but behind your 2 middle fingers. And he writes like that, with the pen between there, and the point of the pen below the pinky, if that makes sense. Just look it up.
Is that a thing that people do, or is that just this is alien?
This is alien, I think, because he does lots of things with his pinky. He'll put his pinky to his mouth.
He will do that.
He like makes
Dr. Evil style. He legit.
And he does like a thing where he's like praying or something, like almost like he's praying, but like he sticks his pinkies up.
So he's just a pinky-focused alien.
With big eyebrows. The thing is, though, is he alien? Isn't he from Earth?
No, he's from the solar system.
I thought he was from Earth. Maybe I was wrong.
He looks alien. Like, isn't he, like, colored?
Oh.
Like, he's supposed to... He looks like he's, like, blue.
I think I figured out why the guys from the other episode aren't in this episode. They are currently having the Dalek Council. They're not there because they're counseling with the Daleks. And then these people are here because, like, it's separate from that.
And where are those people?
I mean, they're coming eventually. I think maybe this isn't Kimball? I don't know. I'm very confused. Forget I said anything.
Like Kimball.
Because, like, didn't, like, old Greg, arms stuck out guy come in and talk to Mavic Chin about how they weren't here yet because they were having counsel with the Daleks. And that, by the way, they set up, the old Greg, arms guy, does not like...
He's calling
Mavic
old Greg
Chin.
arms guy, by the way.
Not because he sells or has arms, like weapons, but because he sticks his arms out.
He sticks his arms out and holds them out, and he walks like that.
And then we get just boring space politics that I don't care about. I don't care about your made-up politics. There's a reason I don't like the Star Wars prequels. Because it's made-up space politics that I don't give a shit about.
I like space politics. Not the Star Wars prequels.
Well, if it makes sense. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, you go to watch, like, a space epic, and you don't want to hear about, oh, let's talk about trade embargoes and treaties, and negotiations will be short. I don't know. Bullshit. Katarina and Steven leave the TARDIS. But Brett sees Mavic Chin's ship and is like, what the fuck? He's a good guy. Why is he here?
Brett, by the way, there's a girl with him, right?
Is there a girl with him?
Yeah, because she's the one who, like, she likes Mavic Chen, right?
No. What the fuck are you talking about?
There was, like, a ship with a man and a woman on it.
That was Earth. That was
Who the
when
hell
they
are
were still
they?
on Earth. Like, they were there to give exposition, and then they weren't in it for the rest of the serial.
Do you know how hard it is to, like, have face blindness and be watching reconstructions? I don't know. Who's doing
I skipped
what?
over them because they didn't do jack shit.
Okay.
Story-wise.
I didn't know. I thought they were the same people.
Like, there was like an arguing couple, right? Yeah. That was in the first episode, and I don't know what their point was.
Okay, I'm very confused.
To be fair, I am too. But yeah, Brett sees the ship and is confused because he's like, that's Mavic Chin's ship. He's a good guy. What's going on? The Team TARDIS bumps into old Greg, and they attack him. The Daleks notice that he's missing from the council, the old Greg guy.
There's that weird scene between old Greg, though, and
Mavic Chin?
Mavic Chen, where I don't understand old Greg at all. Old Greg is weird. He just has an attitude.
Well, he doesn't trust him.
Well, I know, but he's like, he doesn't trust him, but he's doing it in like the most childish way possible, where he's like, well, something where he's like, why don't you go and, wait, or no, why don't you go and get ready for the council? And he's like, I'll show up when I show up. And he's like, well, it's starting soon, so do you wanna? And he's like, I'll show up when I show up. That's kind of how that conversation goes. But there's a weird, he's leaving to go to the council, Mavic Chen is. And he makes some comment about how he knows his place. And there's this shot of, he's standing in front of bars. And he kind of has his hands over them.
Was there a point to that?
It's like that guy's gonna be, it's like that guy's in prison.
Who is?
Old Greg.
Is he?
No.
Are you trying to point out some symbolism or something? I don't know what you're getting at.
No, it's not symbolism. He's saying he's made some comment about him knowing his place and grabs the bars because Mavic Chen's the only one who really seems to have any kind of notion in the beginning that the Daleks make terrible allies, for they probably do not intend to make good on being actual allies. That's the first real instance of that. That's all.
Old Greg guy, it sort of starts a chain of things of one of the council members.
Old Greg, by the way, is just leaves inside of a robe.
But he sort of starts a thread of these council members that become sort of antagonists to Mavic Chen. A series of them.
No one likes Mavic Chen, really, at all.
Right,
Everybody...
but there's one specific one at certain periods. At this point in the serial, it's old Greg. Next up, it's gonna be Booger guy, and
Leech face.
Actually, no. Before Booger guy, it's Mavic Chin's sort of sidekick, the bald guy. That's very theatrical. I don't know. And then it's Booger guy, and then there's always one goes out and another one comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Chicken, I keep calling him Chicken Guy. To me, he was Chicken Guy, but he leaves in a robe. Old Greg gets attacked.
He leaves in a robe, and Joe's like, chicken guy. And
Well,
I'm
it
like,
showed his feet and it looked like chicken feet. His feet look like chicken feet.
whatever. He leaves in a robe, and the reason why that's important is because when Team TARDIS captures him, the Doctor takes his robe and goes into the Council of the Daleks. That's why that's important.
Wearing the robe.
But
I also want to say...
he holds his hands, which I'm like, that's not right.
Well, he doesn't know.
Well, I'm just saying, other people probably know.
He also doesn't know how to pronounce relevant. So
He doesn't.
he says relevant in this episode. Then we get the exposition about the Time Destructor and the M of Terranium. And everybody slaps the table to voice their, I don't know,
Excitement?
Well, sometimes it's excitement, sometimes it's disagreeing. It's not consistent.
They just really like hitting the table.
They like making some noise.
Daleks are like, that's mahogany.
But yeah, Mavic has the core of Terranium.
Yeah.
Sets it down on the table. Is like, yo, this is going to power
He's like,
up the Time Destructor.
He gives this huge speech too, which is great. That's like, I am so important. I am the most important person in here because I have brought this core. And without this core, none of the Daleks' plans could possibly work. That's how great I am. And the Dalek's like, okay, great. And snags it and runs.
He doesn't like immediately snag it. What happens is...
No, I mean, stuff happens.
Old Greg wakes up because they just left him there. They didn't like do anything with him.
They
like,
didn't
he's out
sit
cold.
him
We're
in
fine. In the what?
They didn't set him in the
what?
magnet chair.
The magnet chair. There you go.
I couldn't think of the word for magnet, and because my brain kept going metallic, and I was like, no, that's not it. Oh, do you mean metallic? No.
So Team TARDIS, without the Doctor, are attempting to take Mavic Chin's ship. The old Greg guy sounds the alarms because he's like, I've been attacked. And then everybody goes crazy. The Doctor takes the core and books it.
Right.
But Brett's like, we gotta go. Let's fly away. And both Steven and Katarina are like, you gotta wait for the Doctor. He's like, nope. And then starts to leave. And that's the end of episode 2. We're now into episode 3, which is Devil's Planet. And then the Doctor gets on the ship.
I would like to say that is something that I enjoyed, was all the different kinds of ships that were there, and the design of them was very neat. And I would have liked to have seen them in motion more. Because there's one Mavic Chen's ship we see fly a couple of times, or we would.
Yeah, it sort of spins.
It's cool.
I don't know if that was a recreation or existing footage. But,
I couldn't tell.
But this third episode starts, and the Doctor just gets on the ship.
And
he's like, get us off! Remember?
Oh, yeah, he does.
Says, get us off!
And Joe and I just looked at each other and thought it was awkward.
Again, we are children. The Daleks are tracking them, and then we get stuff there. We're gonna take over the solar system and the universe. Old Greg places suspicion on Mavic Chen, but the Mavic Chen's like, no, it's his fault. And
then the Daleks just kill the dude.
Yeah, he's like, the old Greg was negligent, blah, 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 blah. So they exterminate old Greg.
That's the end of old Greg. Which, here's what gets me. Okay, obviously, I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit just so I can talk about this thing. The Daleks are really shitty allies. That's its own thing. But, like, these are kind of important people. Like, they're representatives of...
various planets and galaxies.
Galaxies, yeah. They're, like, important people in those places. And the Daleks are just like, yeah, you screwed that up. We're gonna kill you. Like, and this is the first death, but it's certainly not the last. It gets to the point where they're just picking them off, and I'm like, other people, they're like starting wars. Like,
Probably.
they have to be. And the Daleks just
care.
don't know. They don't give a damn, because they're Daleks. That's how they operate, I guess.
And we are down. Our first council member is down. Team TARDIS put on ridiculous visors that may have been photoshopped. I'm not sure.
I loved them, though.
And they examined the Terranium core. They get to listen to the tape. The Doctor found the tape player from Mission to the Unknown.
Jez was texting me about this, by the way. Oh, this has a segment name. Jez Thoughts.
Jez Thoughts. Or Jez Saying.
Ooh, Jez Saying. That's good. Jez was texting me, and she noticed that the tape recorder that they have, just says space. It has a big label that says space on it.
Well, that way you know it's from the future,
right? And not just an ordinary tape recorder. It's a space tape recorder, and that has been a Jez saying.
Something the ship jiggles while they're listening to the tape, or after, I don't remember. And then they're like, we might crash on this prison planet.
Oh, the prison planet. Let's talk about the prison planet and
Wait.
why the fuck we ever went there. No, don't wait.
We're here. Yeah,
we're here. They crash on the planet. What do you
they're
want?
about to.
They're about to, and then they do. What?
Well, while they're about to, Maverick Chin says he's going to return to Earth. So that happens. And then we get to see the inmates from the prison planet.
Yeah, they're fighting. This whole planet is pointless. I don't even remember what happens on it.
There's like some
they get stuck for a little bit.
Yeah, there's like we get to introduce to these inmates, and there's a whole like caste system set up. There's a leader who has a knife, and there is infighting, and blah blah blah. And it ultimately doesn't matter because they have like almost no influence on the plot. There's no point to this.
Eventually, they just get off the planet and leave. With little to no consequences.
One of the inmates gets on the ship. That's the only consequence. But like this whole setup we've had of all these other characters, nothing gets resolved. It doesn't matter. We don't care about any of them.
Right, the leader has the knife thing, that it doesn't matter. We didn't need an entire episode. To get to where we needed to go, we needed to be like, we crashed on a planet. Now there's an inmate on the ship. What are we going to do?
And even that's kind of pointless.
Right.
It doesn't have anything to do with it.
Well, I guess it does ultimately lead to something.
Yeah, which we'll get to in the next episode. But yeah, we can just pretty much nothing happens. The doctor sets up an electrocution trap for him and electrocutes the inmates. That was pretty cool. But then they take off. Nothing happened in this episode except old Greg died.
Oh!
And then we got recaps.
And a door was established like 8 times.
Yeah. Like, did you close the door? No. Oh, close the door. We're taking off. Did the door open? And then did you close the door? Door open, door closed, door closed, open, door. So many times.
So we're like, so something's happening with that door, I guess.
So they think they've taken out the inmates are like coming towards them and they know they're prisoners. So they're like, we got to get out of here. So they start to take off and like, oh, did you get that door? And like Katarina's like, I'll go get it as they're taking off. And an inmate grabs her as they're taking off. And that is the end of episode 3, where nothing happens. And we're now into episode 4, The Traitors. And the inmate wants to go to Kimball. For what reason, I don't know. It's been previously established that Kimball is fucking awful. And they're like, we're not going back to Kimball because that's where the bad guys are. And he's like, I don't care. Take me to Kimball.
Why do you want to go to Kimball?
Like,
it's
the only reason.
Like man-eating plants and shit.
That's the only reason the Daleks are there is because no one wants to go there. I don't know. They were being pursued by the Daleks, and the Daleks is what caused them to crash because they controlled the ship, Maverick Chin's ship. But somehow they destroyed the Dalek pursuit ship, and I don't remember how. But I got a note that says it happened. So the inmate pulls Katarina into an airlock, and then Katarina hits a button, and they get ejected into space. Both of them, Katarina and the inmate. And we've lost Katarina really quickly.
It's a bummer because
it's our first companion death, and I don't give a shit.
It's not effective at all, and it bums me out because it makes me feel bad, because I feel like it should. I feel like a bad person for not having more of an emotional response. But we didn't really get to see her do much, and it's sad, but it's not. It is the first death of a companion. I would consider her a companion.
Yeah. It's a heroic sacrifice, but it's such a small blip in this story from a villain that was not that important.
Yeah. Like,
nothing about this was relevant to the story, and her death feels kind of meaningless.
And then we watch her float in space for like a whole minute. Just entirely too long.
They tried to make it impactful, but...
Steven and the doctor have a moment, and the doctor says, I hope she has found her perfection and, her afterlife that she was looking for. Steven's obviously really upset by it, but it's mostly kind of...
I felt more bad for the doctor and Steven than I cared about her dying.
Yeah.
Which is bad. But there's nothing to her character other than confusion. And, that's another thing is, they play it off as a heroic sacrifice, but it could have just been she hit a button and didn't know what it did.
No. No. Don't take that from her. It was a heroic sacrifice. How does she know
that that's what the button does?
Because it had been established, and she's clever.
Okay, but how does she know that being out in space will kill her?
She knows.
She's from a period in time where they didn't even think about going into space.
She seemed aware of the consequences of what would happen. It was,
She probably thought she was just going into heaven.
Stop!
Which the doctor hopes she does.
Stop.
The doctor says he hopes she gets her reward or whatever. He's vaguely religious for a moment. Anyway, that happened. let's move on.
Ultimately, that's kind of how the story treats it. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, there's your first major character death. All right, what's happening next? And it's ineffective.
But I will say there is something coming up that is along the same lines, but actually is effective. But we'll get there. So then we get Mavic Chin returns to Earth, I guess, but hires someone to go after them. Sarah Kingdom, right?
Well, he doesn't hire her. She, works for him already.
Yeah, but I mean, she's put on this task.
Right. It's not like that makes it sound like she's a bounty hunter. She's like a Peace Corps member almost.
But the Mavic Chin gives her this story and basically convinces her that they're bad guys that have taken... I guess he said they took the Terranium for their own evil purposes or something, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, they've got this.
Well, he basically is like, the Terranium is necessary for galactic peace or shit, and they're preventing this from happening. And so she's like, cool, I trust you 110%. I will do whatever you say.
Yeah, they land on Earth, and they go inside this experimental station.
Yeah, station where they run experiments, which leads to the best shit of the whole serial.
But they go in and there's nobody here. What's up? Yeah. And they're waiting for this guy. Dexter?
So, yeah, Dexter. Someone specific who the guy knows he can trust.
Turns out that guy's bad.
and then he dies.
Brett kills him.
Yeah, with a gun.
They reveal that Dexter's working, or Dexter, the doctor's I don't know, they figure out somehow that he's working for
He had information he wasn't supposed to have had.
Brett's like, well, you're a bad guy, so he shoots him, and the doctor's pissed.
The doctor and Steven are both just shocked, and are like, what? Why have you done this? Now, he could have told us stuff. Now he's just dead. And
I got a note here that says Booger Guy in trouble, so I guess now Booger Guy's on Mavic Chin's case. Mavic Chin doesn't care for it. Anyway, yeah, they go into this, Kingdom comes in and finds them. The Doctor and Steven have gotten out, and they're running away. Sarah confronts Brett, and then Sarah, Kingdom, kills Brett. Shoots him down, shoots him dead. And then she's like, time to go find these other people. And that's the end of the third episode.
Which this was the episode where I'm just like, we've just killed, half the people we started with. What is happening?
And we're now into episode 5, maybe? I think we're into episode 5. Counterplot. This episode exists, and is probably one of the better ones. I don't know if that's because it exists.
Yeah, I'm not certain. It's hard to say, but it is one of the more watchable ones, for sure.
So the Doctor and Steven wander into this room and are waiting for Brett, and there's these mice in a cage, but the cage is in a transmitter.
I have to say, I am so glad that this is one of the episodes that exists. Just so glad. Because they go into this room, and there are these mice in this cage.
In a transmitter.
And I guess it gets activated?
Wait. Sarah shows up first, though.
Yes, yeah.
Sarah finds them.
Sarah finds them.
Stop where you are, blah, 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 blah. Don't go anywhere. And I'm like, where are we going to go? Then the thing turns on. And to communicate this idea, I can't even... There's just a sort of negative, but they're making painful faces.
They're just they're making the most painful faces you could just
and moving their bodies in
their faces in twisted ways, and turning their heads and necks in ways that don't look right.
Unnatural.
And it's laid over just weird other unrelated video, and it's weird, and I like it a lot.
And then there's just shots of them jumping and with weird visuals behind them. Just the most weird. I love this shit. I like when the show goes weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's we're both I don't know what the fuck's happening, but alright.
We are 100% here for it, whatever it is.
And then we find out that it was an experiment to basically transmit things through space. So they're basically being beamed. The mice were going to be sent with the transmitter, and then the transmitter will send information back about whether the mice are okay and shit. They were going to do this before sending, people. But, well, oh well. They've sent some people.
Before this happens, there's Kingdom. Kingdom has a couple other people with her, right?
I don't think so. It was just her. Well, she sent them to go elsewhere, but yeah.
She had a couple people they weren't with her, but who were also looking for the Doctor. They run into this control room where the people are working on this experiment, and they're like, where are they? Where's the Doctor? And the scientists are like, who the hell? Get out of our lab! I'm like, well, we're looking for... I don't care, get out! And they're like, alright. And then, like, they kind of leave. And then when, like, Chen realizes that everyone's been transported, he's like, why did you not stop the experiment? And everyone's like, I really understand what was going on. Like, that was the response.
And the scientists were like, we already started, it was too late. Have you seen Spider-Man 3? It's that. But they were sent to a planet called Myra, and Mavic Chen's like, shit, I'm just going to tell the Daleks I did this on purpose.
Well, his advisor tells him that he ought to do that. This isn't terribly important because that guy's gonna die.
Yeah, like, I don't even remember how he dies. Like,
I don't even remember. I remember nothing about him.
I just know he dies at some point. Or maybe he just doesn't show up again. Who knows?
Maybe he well, because
we'll find out while looking through my notes.
He's set up where he's like, you're gonna be master, like, of the universe, or is it gonna be me? But then either he dies or never comes back again, one or the other.
But yeah, Mavic Chen's going to be like, I sent him there on purpose, so you guys can go pick him up, and we'll get the Terranium.
They were causing too much trouble on Earth. It was too much of a risk to have them there, so I just teleported them out.
They're out of the way, and they're not, like, exposing our plans.
Is closer to Kimball.
Yeah, they're not on Earth exposing all of our shit. I just got rid of them. Because if I caught them, but they were still there, that would give them an opportunity to, tell the truth, yeah. So, but anyway, on Myra, they wake up, they go exploring a bit. Thanks for dropping things.
Sorry.
And then we see these footprints just show up. Just squish, squish, squish in the mud.
It was cool.
I have a line here that says, a note here that just says, gun stroking. Don't remember what that's about, but I'm sure it was erotic. Moving on. The Daleks arrive on Myra and exterminate the mice.
I love how just irrational the Daleks can be at times. We're like, why have you done this? And, like, not only that, but exterminating the mice, like, breaks the transmitter, which makes it harder for the people on Earth who are looking for the Doctor, just the same as the Daleks. It makes their lives harder. So, like...
But then, like, the Daleks start hearing, like, the visible things thrashing around, and they just start shooting at anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's invisible! Shoot! 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 They're very trigger happy. The Doctor fights an invisible thing, too.
And is terrible at it.
It reminded me so much of Vincent and the Doctor.
Did we look up to see if that was the same monster?
I don't think it is. But,
no.
Well, I don't think these things were ever named, so maybe. Probably
I think they
not,
were
though.
named.
But, like, the Doctor's just thrashing his, like, little cane at them. And then, like, Steven starts getting on Kingdom shit for, like, killing Brett and blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, well, you know what? It was hard for me, too, okay? It's my job. And Brett was my brother. So, fuck you guys.
Yeah, she, like, drops that and walks out. And Joe and I are both like, what? Damn.
That was intense.
Yeah.
Fuck, now I feel bad. So, yeah, like, this episode had stuff that happened and was good. And then, basically, the Daleks find the team. And that's the end of the episode. But actually, not a lot happened, but it was cool.
Yeah.
It looked cool.
But we could see it.
There was cool visuals. There was invisible monsters. There was that, not literal bomb, but like a, hey, that was my brother.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, that was a nice little reveal. So that was a good
it
episode.
was silly in that it ultimately means nothing. But I think it is a nice character thing.
Yeah, I feel like it humanizes her a bit, at least.
Yeah.
Like, she was doing a job, she's not just totally heartless. And then she feels really bad about it. Because I kind of like Kingdom. I like Sarah Kingdom.
I like Sarah Kingdom, too.
By the way, I assume you guys realize at this point they pretty much convinced her that they're good and Mavic Chen was lying to her.
Yeah.
She's part of the team now. So, now we're into episode...
Well, I think she's still at this point a little bit... She's like, well, I'll go along with you for now. Like, I don't think she's 100% convinced. But she's like, if something's not right, I want to know what it is. So, like, my best bet to figuring it out is tailing you guys.
And so now we're into episode 6, Coronas of the Sun. Not to be confused with the beer. My first note says, Daleks want Terranium. Well, no shit. That's the entire plot of this fucking thing.
What are you, the cereal?
I think maybe that's why I wrote it. I was like, they've said it like 9 billion times. Make a comment about it. They say that like 9 billion times. We want the Terranium. We want the Doctor. Like I said, like, 80% of the dialogue is just the Daleks or the bad guys saying that they want to get the good guys or the thing that the good guys have.
Has someone else been killed off by now?
No, not yet.
Oh, so just
At
like a
least
lot
not
of them
that
go
many.
right at the end there.
Yeah.
Alright.
There's an invisible attack. The Doctor has a plan. Doctor giving up. I don't know what any of this means. Oh, Steven puts mud on the Dalek's eyeball.
Yeah,
That was good.
that happens.
And then they take the Dalek ship, right? Sure.
We still have so many episodes to go, you guys.
I got a note here that says incompetence sounds like achievement, which must have meant I really liked the line, but now I don't remember what it is.
I remember what it is. It's the Daleks' reaction to Mavic Chen. It's the Daleks' reaction to Mavic Chen's explanation of why he sent them to this planet instead of capturing them.
Right.
And the Daleks say, "You make your incompetence sound like an achievement."
Oh yeah, that was a good line.
It's an excellent line. I enjoyed it very much.
But then, like, Mavic Chen calls out the Daleks, like, well, you guys had them and then fucked it up, so maybe go exterminate yourself. That's a Dalek way of saying go fuck yourself.
I thought it was a Dalek way of saying go kill yourself, and that seemed really harsh.
Well, okay, but still, though, like, the Daleks will exterminate anything that does anything mildly wrong. So he's like, you guys fucked up big time. Why don't you exterminate yourselves? That's what you do to people that fuck up. That's all I'm saying. Jeez.
I gotcha.
But the Doctor makes a Terranium copy. A copy of the Terranium.
Oh, man. But there's, like, a weird thing where it's, like, it can't just, like, look the same and weigh the same. It has to have this specific charge. Sarah
Weird fucking shit happens.
Sarah and the Doctor are, like, arguing about it.
And, like, Steven's like, well, can't you just do this thing? Like, can't you just put your finger in the socket? Basically.
Yeah, basically. And they're like, yeah, you could.
If you want to die.
And Steven's like, I don't understand. This is a simple solution. I'm just gonna fucking do it. I assume that that's what happens. That he, like...
Puts his finger in a light socket.
That's what it sounds like. I can't... This episode doesn't exist, so I didn't see what happens. But that seemed to be the gist.
Yeah, and then for some reason that encases him in a sort of force field?
Which they make sound like a bad thing, but also sounds like a superpower.
But he also can't really do anything. He can't talk or move really that well.
Yeah.
I mean, he can, but just like, I don't know,
I don't know. Again,
incapable of doing
I
stuff.
couldn't see what was happening.
But anyway, they go out to meet the Dalek. The Daleks show up, and then, like, are they on Kimball? What the fuck? How's the TARDIS there? Did they get taken to TARDIS? Oh, wait. No, they flew to Kimball.
Yeah.
Okay, and they were making the thing. Okay, so they land on Kimball. The Daleks are there and, like, give us the Terranium.
And they do.
But they do it right outside the TARDIS. And they pass the Terranium over. Well, they leave Steven out to do it while the Doctor and Sarah go inside the TARDIS. And then Steven gives it to him and starts going back to the TARDIS. And they try to exterminate Steven.
But he's got a force field.
Woo! But the extermination...
breaks the force field.
It was very temporary. And then so he's just like, well, why can't we just do that again? Like, because you can kill yourself, idiot. All right, then we won't do that again.
I mean, it's like, imagine being able to have a force field all the time.
Which, come to think of it, this serial does a lot of here's a fix to a problem, but it's only temporary.
Yeah!
We'll get to that later.
Still bitter about it.
So they land, they've dematerialized in the TARDIS, and they've appeared somewhere else, and the Doctor's like, don't go out there, there's poison. My dials say poison. And that's the end of that episode, and we're into the second half.
Oh, sweet Jesus. This is taking just as long to talk about as it is to watch.
We're in episode 7, The Feast of Steven, which is weird.
This episode!
By the way, this is also where we're like, things are wrapped up. Like, where can we go?
Right. They've taken the real core, they've gave the Daleks the fake one, they're gone.
Where else
That
is there
sounds
to go?
like an end to me.
To be fair, they do logically continue it.
Yeah, it's just that this episode is a Christmas episode, and it starts the Doctor Who tradition of Christmas episodes being kind of shit.
Okay, you say that, but if this episode existed, I guarantee you it would probably be one of my favorites.
That's probably fair. The biggest problem with this episode, again, is that it doesn't exist. And it seems like there's a lot of slapstick going on, there's a lot of chaos, and that doesn't really help when all you have is the audio.
To be fair, that's more of a problem with the second half of this episode, not so much the first half. The first half is a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
Let's just say they land, which I don't know why I thought there was a poison atmosphere. I think his ship's just fucked up.
Yeah,
that's what
sensor's broken.
They spent a lot of time trying to fix the TARDIS for this episode, and I think the next.
The sensor's broken. Sarah's trying to fix it.
Yeah. Well, the doctor goes out first because he's like, you guys can't go out because I can
breathe air, but you can't.
And they've landed at a police station.
This is okay. I did start off by talking shit about this episode, but it is really funny.
The policemen see the thing and they're like, "What's all this then?"
Where the hell did this come from? Whatever, it's ours. It's got our name on it. They send one guy out there, 2 guys out there to guard the thing, and the doctor walks out of it, and one of the guys is like,
I think the doctor pops his head out and then pops it right back in.
And nope. And did you see? Someone just came out of there. And the other officer's like, yeah.
What?
Sure. He's like, no, for real. Someone's in there. And he's like, yeah, sure.
One incredulous guard and one guard that does not give a shit.
Right. And so they try to open it, but of course it's locked because it's a TARDIS. And he's like, see, it's locked. No one's in there.
But the doctor eventually does come out, I think, and they take him to...
They
arrest him. And they take him in, and there's just this guy there complaining about his stolen greenhouse. Which is so fucking weird.
And I don't even know what that was.
I think it's just supposed to be a guy who's kind of slightly off his rocker, I guess. It's funny. It's weird.
I thought maybe it was leading to something.
No.
It is fun. It is written in a humorous way.
I think it's just one of those, characters, on Parks and Rec when, somebody comes in and complains about something fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
That's this guy. He's like, they stole my house. And I'm like, what?
They stole it once, and then they stole it again.
My greenhouse. They've moved it. Moved it where? Well, I don't know.
But I think he at one point says they moved it, and then they moved it from where they moved it to. While this is all going on, and the doctor didn't know it was Christmas. It's Christmas, you guys. Steven pops out, and for no reason at all, steals a police uniform and puts it on.
Steven?
And then seems confused by the fact that people are referring to him as a police officer. Which maybe that's just because he's from the future.
Oh, he doesn't know what it is?
Yeah.
Then why do you steal it?
They always steal clothes when they show up somewhere.
They do it.
They're trying
so
to fit
unnecessary. It happened, and I was like, Steven, that's illegal. Stop. Not only are you stealing, you're impersonating an officer. Why?
That's a felony, sir.
Why does Team TARDIS insist on doing this? These things do not belong to you just because you're time travelers.
Speaking of, the doctor is just like, oh, cops, I'm a time traveler. That's my time traveling ship. It's not a police box. And just expects them to believe this.
Well, they're like, yeah, all right. The doctor's
and it's a moving greenhouse. All right.
I guess maybe that's what that character is there to set up.
Maybe.
That they deal with those kind of people all the time.
And no one buys the doctor's bullshit, obviously. Sarah comes out because the guys have done jack shit. And she's like, all right, gonna fix this ship. And another cop tries to stop her. Like, no, this is our thing. You can't, don't fuck with it. She's like, no, but I'm gonna.
This cop is like, go on to your Christmas party and quit messing with inside our police box. And she's like, this isn't your police box. I need to fix it because the sensor's broken. And the policeman's like,
I'm sure it is, but you can't mess with our property. Then Steven goes in and sort of stumbles his way through. What? Oh, yeah, okay. I'm a
police officer, and I'm gonna take this old guy with me.
Why? Oh, because I need to. Yeah. They almost feed him his lines, almost.
Yeah.
That he gets the doctor eventually, but, it's done in such a way that it's like, I don't know how you pulled that off. Which I guess is funny.
Yeah.
But, he calls him, come with me, old man. The doctor's like, who are you calling old man? Don't call me, I'm not old. He's like, that's everyone else is doing it. Come on, doctor, play along.
Right. Just, let's get out of here.
Yeah, they eventually get away, and then the TARDIS disappears, and the one cop's like, holy fuck, did you see that? The TARDIS disappeared. Or that box disappeared.
Yeah, looks like.
No, it disappeared. Mm-hmm. Sure.
I don't remember if that actually happened. Did it?
Oh yeah,
okay.
like the one it disappeared, and the other cop was like, I didn't see it. So he's like, what? All right, whatever, whatever. Because he was fussing with something else.
Why is this episode called Steven's Feast?
The Feast of Steven. It's a reference to, like, I think there is something called the Feast of Stephen, maybe.
He didn't eat anything the whole episode.
They do at the end. No, they do at the end.
No, they do. Okay, but I guess they do.
St. Stephen's Day. It's a thing.
I should probably know that.
Celebrated on December 26th. Let's commemorate St. Stephen, the first Christian martyr. It's a pun or something.
Okay. Now I know.
So there you go. But yeah, they get in the ship and then they do like a brief little. By the way, this is
something weird happens.
But before that happens, they do a brief little. Oh, by the way, this is part of the Daleks Master Plan. We got to keep moving because they're probably going to chase us because they want the real Terranium. So we're going to have to destroy it at some point. Let's continue with whatever the fuck we're doing. And they land on a planet and they see like a woman chained to a table heading towards a buzzsaw while, a mustachioed man cackles. And they're like, we must stop this villainy.
I thought this was a different episode.
No.
To be honest.
They go out to stop the lady from being, cut in half. And then they do. And everybody around them is pissed.
Guys, they're on a movie set.
The director's like, oh, cut. Who the hell are these? Get those people. And they get chased around the set.
But the problem is that, like, Steven and Sarah are badasses. So they just, like...
Take out the guards that are coming after them.
Yeah, they're, like, just, like, flipping people and shit. And the director's like, this is the coolest shit I have ever seen. I've got to get me some of this.
They get away and they're running around sets. They bump into Charlie Chaplin.
Again, this is the part I was talking about when I say that it's very chaotic. There's a lot going on, and I imagine there are lots of visual jokes that are just gone. There's not much to enjoy anymore. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of chaos. People talking over people, and that was part of the fun probably when it existed. Now, not so much.
The bits that I could gather, there's another film set filming some sort of like
Arabian Nights
situation, and one actor's not doing it the way the director wants to do it.
Like it's a man and a woman. Like the director's like, all right, cut, and the woman's like, yeah, because he fucking sucks. Like, she's just getting more and more upset.
Steven gets confused as a stunt person. I think, and like gets unwillingly, because he's wearing his policeman's outfit, he gets unwillingly dragged into what I assume is some sort of car crash. Because they take him off set and you hear this, and then smoke appears, and then he stumbles out like covered in
dust
and stuff. What the fuck is happening? Because like neither Sarah or him know they're on a film set either. Because they're like, what the fuck is happening?
They have no reason to. They have no frame of reference for what this is.
It's just chaos.
Too far in the future.
The doctor stumbles onto the Arabian set and is confused they think he's an Arabian expert. And just fucking chaos. I don't know. Everything's going bad. Like, the doctor's like stuck talking to this really annoying guy who's like, Charlie Chaplin beats me to everything. Like, I want to do this comedy bit. Charlie Chaplin's done it. I want to do this bit. Charlie Chaplin's done it. Charlie Chaplin. Nobody's ever like Bing Crosby. And then he walks off. It was Bing Crosby, you guys, I guess. Just, yeah, everything goes bad. Everybody hates the TARDIS people, and they're trying to get back to the TARDIS, which means they have to go back past...
But that other director really wants them to, like, be in the movie. Yeah. But, like, Steven and Sarah just think that he's, like, chasing them.
Yeah, and I think they also, like, they're like, well, fuck it, let's just do the scene. And then they run through the scene as they're filming it again. And I'm like, son of a bitch! We can't get this scene with the lady being buzzsawed because... These fuckers.
Oh, and the lady being buzzsawed is crying. She's like, you're gonna replace me? You want to replace me with those people?
Yeah, and then they get in the TARDIS and it dematerializes and they're like, holy shit! That was a great trick! How'd they do that?
And everybody claps.
And then there's this one guy, then the actual Australian expert shows up and he looks remarkably like William Hartnell.
Did you say Australian?
Did I say Australian?
You absolutely did.
I'm sorry. Arabian expert shows up, and he looks remarkably like William Hartnell. I'm not sure if it was William Hartnell or a stand-in, but if it was a stand-in, they should have got this guy to play the Doctor in that previous episode. Because he looked like William Hartnell with glasses.
Did he?
He did to me. Because, he stumbled and like, what's going on? And everybody's like, who are you? He's like, I'm the Arabian expert. Wah, wah. Anyway, back on the TARDIS, the Doctor comes... Well, Steven and Sarah are like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know.
Steven Sarah's like, where were we? And Steven's like, I don't know, and let's hope we never go back there again. That was the worst. Just the worst.
And then the doctor comes out with food and is like, it's time to celebrate. It's Christmas.
And then something weird happens.
And he's like, Merry Christmas to you guys. Merry Christmas, Steven. Merry Christmas, Sarah. And then he turns to the camera and goes, and coincidentally, Merry Christmas to all of you at home.
He didn't like it.
Oh, that'll be fair. I think he said Happy Christmas, not Merry. So he broke the fourth wall, you guys. He spoke to us.
I don't know why it...
What, it bothers you?
Yeah, like, it shouldn't. Like...
That's nice. He wished you a happy Christmas. He wished us a happy... And you guys listening, you know what? It's almost close to Christmas. Happy Christmas to you as well.
Don't talk to them.
Coincidentally, happy Christmas to all of you listening to our podcast.
Don't acknowledge their existence. What are you doing?
I hope you enjoy a feast fit for Steven.
No, it's fine. You can do it in podcasts.
By the way, next
Merry Christmas.
Our next episode is going to be our Christmas special.
So, I'm excited.
I know. I've already edited like 10 minutes of it. It's going to be amazing.
Is it?
Sure.
I was there recording it. I didn't know if editing it.
Oh, it's a little difficult, but not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So we're good.
But I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Anyway, that was the end of The Feast of Steven.
The other part of the reason why I didn't care for this episode when we were watching it is because it is in the middle of this ridiculous 12-parter. And so you're like, why? If it was like one-off, if it was on its own, I would probably like it.
Well, I think because it's such a big serial, they needed like a breather.
Yeah.
And that kind of works.
That's fair, except that it just seemed like one more thing that made me getting through it even longer.
Yeah. To be fair, I mean, this is, again, I said this sort of rips off The Chase. The Chase sort of did a similar thing. Like, in the middle of The Chase, we have this weird one episode where they go to a boat and a haunted house.
Don't you mean the human mind?
Yeah. So, and then it continues on with the actual plot. And in a way, this is what happens here. So let's get into Volcano.
Volcano's when the... Okay.
This is where we get this rock guy, by the way.
This is the episode where I feel like, personally, this serial starts to pick up.
Yeah, that's true. The second half of this, I feel, is a little stronger than the first half. There is still a dip where you're just like, fuck, just to end already. But that could be because we were watching 12 episodes of this. But yeah, these next couple episodes are, like, I think, probably the best section. This and the very end of the last episode. And there's some stuff in between.
Like, that stuff keeps happening. And...
Yeah. So, the Daleks have got the Time Destructor ready with their fake Terranium. Mavic talks about the Doctor to the bad guys. Who cares? Everyone on the TARDIS realizes they're being followed. And you think, who's following him? Because the Daleks haven't figured things out
yet.
Back to the Daleks, they're testing the thing right now. The Time Destructor. And they're going to test it on Booger Guy.
Which, I don't even understand the decision of how...
Well, they said he volunteered.
They didn't really say volunteered. They said he was eager to make a contribution, and so the Daleks decided that they would contribute his life.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound 100% like a decision, like volunteering. That sounds like, oh, you want to help? All right, sit in this chair.
So they turn it on. Doesn't work. Obviously.
Wait, and here's what gets me, though. It doesn't work. I mean, the one Dalek turns to the other one is like, well, what do we do with this guy?
Well, they confront Mavic Chin about it, and then Mavic Chin blames the Doctor, and then the Daleks are like, fuck, let's get a time machine and go after the Doctor.
Okay, yes.
And then they're like, okay, then they're like...
We could have, like, easily have said that after I said my thing, though.
Okay, sorry.
But yeah, so, like, the Dalek turns to the other Daleks and they're like, well, what do you want to do with this guy? And I was like,
guy.
Exterminate him. I was like, why? That's so pointless. Like, first of all, at least keep him around to test it on him when you get the real thing working. Like, no, just kill him.
No reason.
No reason at all.
And the reason that they don't like him to begin with, though, is because I feel like in the previous episodes, Booger Guy was trying to get a little more power within the council. Like,
Leech Face. His name is Leech Face.
Booger Guy.
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 Leech Face.
Booger Guy. Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. Booger Guy.
Leech Face.
Booger Leech.
Leech Face.
Booger Leech. was trying to, like, position himself into a place of higher power within the council, and Maverick Chin got pissed off about it, and I think the Daleks did too. So that's why the Daleks are like, all right.
But for some reason, like,
fine,
everyone else in the
exterminate him.
council hates Maverick Chin. Nobody trusts him. But the Daleks really do?
Mm-hmm.
Or just, I guess, find him useful.
That's probably more like it. Anyway, the TARDIS arrives in the middle of a cricket match. Comedy happens.
Comedy.
It was like a Douglas Adams bit. Like, I'm pretty sure Douglas Adams did the same bit, but, a little better. We're basically just informed of what's happening by the cricket announcers.
Right.
And they're just so blasé about it.
They're like, it seems like there's a police box out on the pitch.
This isn't going to be good for that other team.
Like, they've only got so much time to catch up, and how long do you think it's going to take to get the box off?
Yeah. Like, and they were doing so well, too, and the weather was great, and now this box is here, just throwing a wrench in their plans. Oh, it's gone now. The box seems to have disappeared. That can only mean good things for this team. The score is blah, 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 blah. Fade out. I swear, that exact same scene happened, and I think Life, the Universe, and Everything. Ford and Arthur sort of chase a couch, and then they grab the couch, and it takes them to a cricket in the middle of a cricket match, and then they're running around the cricket match chasing a sofa. I wonder if it's a reference to this scene, because Douglas Adams wrote for Doctor Who, and apparently a Doctor Who fan, right?
I mean, I don't think he wrote for Doctor Who, like, in this era.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just saying he's a fan, so maybe he's seen it or knows about this episode.
Gotcha.
Then they land on the volcano.
They-
The title!
They actually land, well, nearish a volcano.
And the other ship has landed too, but they don't see it anywhere because it's a rock! And it opens up, and a certain meddling
It's
monk.
the monk, you guys! I really like the monk. I like him a lot.
The time meddler pops out, you guys.
He was able to bypass the whatever.
Who cares? He figured out how to follow the Doctor. He jumped a track.
He does say that. He's
Whatever
like,
that means.
I figured it out because I jumped a time track. And I'm like, oh yeah, those are a thing that are a thing. Time tracks.
So the TARDIS crew go looking for the ship, and Steven sits on a boulder and is like, that's a really hot boulder.
He does do that.
And then the monk meddles with their TARDIS while they're away from it.
He breaks the lock somehow.
And then they meet where the monk's sort of up on this high ledge, and the Team TARDIS are on the beneath the ledge, right? So they can't really interact, but they can yell at each other basically. And then
He's got a very large rock.
yeah, you're like, oh shit, he's gonna throw a rock at him, and he's like, oh, it's them, and sets the rock down. I don't know. They just talk a bit.
That's part of what I like about the monk is how civilized he is for a villain. You know, he's not. I mean, he's a bad guy. He is. But part of the reason why he was meddling is because he wanted to make things better. He's out for revenge now, which makes him not great. But he's very polite about it the whole time, always. And I enjoy that.
Yeah, they have a nice little pleasant chat.
Yeah.
I mean, it ends in, villainous laughter from the monk. Where he's like, you guys are going to be stranded here. Ha ha! Joke's on you. Ha ha!
And then
I
runs
got my
off.
revenge. Ha ha!
Now you guys are stuck here like I was stuck someplace, suckers. And he takes off.
And then, the Doctor's like, what the fuck does that mean? And then they go to the TARDIS, he's like, oh, he's locked the doors. Damn it.
Good
And then
thing,
the stupidest fucking thing happens.
good thing I can reflect the special properties of this sun off of the special properties of this ring.
The ring he
And
wears on his hand.
Use it to open the door.
Yeah.
Even Steven's like, what? What does that mean? And he's like, don't worry about it. He's like, the sun has special properties. What kind of special properties? Just special. The ring has special properties, and when they react together, it's super, super special. And Steven's like, I don't think that makes any sense. And the Doctor's like, shh.
This is as they're leaving. And then it cuts to the monk who's like, oh no, they've left. Well, they haven't seen the last of me. Cut back to the TARDIS. Do you think that's the last we'll see of him? No, I don't think that's the last we'll see of him.
Some of my favorite dialogue.
And I turned to Tony and was like, do you think he'll be a recurring villain?
It's like, I think maybe we'll see him again.
Perhaps. We land somewhere and there's fireworks. There's some kind of festival.
What the hell was that?
It was like some festival. I don't know. I think it was supposed to be some historical event, but I missed it, and there was bells ringing and shit. He said what it was, and I don't know what it was.
And I couldn't hear what he said. Yeah, he said it's a festival of something, but that's the end of the episode.
And like they don't go back to it. I figured they were going to carry it over into the next episode, but they didn't.
They don't, and so
It was just sort of like, oh, they're here at this thing, which is who gives a shit.
And then that episode ends, and the next episode starts, and they're at the pyramids.
But for that, the Daleks have the longest fucking countdown.
Oh my god!
They start at like 80. Who is this Dalek that does all the countdowns, by the way?
I don't know, and why does he start at like 100? Like, alright, countdown to launch the deadly missile to kill everyone. Alright, 100, 99.
Damn it, Gary.
Like,
start from 20 at least.
We don't need you to count down from 100. Like, watch the clock until it gets to 20.
And this time it's a countdown to when the time machine's gonna leave.
At least this time we don't hear all of it.
That's true. We still hear too much of it.
Like, literally, we hear it, and then it cuts away to see, like, the bells and the fireworks, and then it cuts back. So, like, it cuts away at, like, 70 and cuts back, and that's at, like, 30, and it's like, why are we doing this? And
it cuts away again, and then it comes back, and it's at 20. She's like, God, just do it. Just go. You don't have to do a countdown. Like, the Doctor doesn't do a countdown. Just time travel already. Jesus. And that's the end of episode 8, Volcano.
The Daleks play by hide-and-seek rules. Ready or not, here we come!
And now we're on to episode 9, Golden Death, where we do a little bit of a recap. 5, 4. Like, no, we heard this already.
Don't make me sit through another countdown.
But yeah, we're at the pyramids, and the pyramids appear to be abandoned. Because it's a frequent thing. They show up somewhere like, where the fuck is everyone?
People are expensive.
Yeah, we can't fill this miniature with people.
Right.
And then there's a little... They're like, well, since we're here, let's try to finish fixing the TARDIS. And there's a little cute scene where the Doctor's like, hand me the thing. And then Steven's like, eh? No, I said the thing. Eh? Damn it, Steven! Just give it here. That's not important to the story, but I thought it was a nice little moment.
It's a nice scene, yeah. Steven just like, is it this one? Please be this one.
And Steven's like, you know what, I'm just gonna go keep an eye out. And then he sees the Dalek ship arrives, which at this point, they think it's the
monk.
The monk. And they're like, oh shit, we gotta go warn the Doctor.
Which that was kind of a bummer when we did see the Dalek time machine, just because Ian and Barbara blew theirs up, and it was kind of like, well, that's the end of Daleks time traveling. And the Daleks are like, yeah, we made more of those, you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know why you thought that. Because they could have kept theirs.
Well, they didn't know how to fly it.
Well, they could have learned. They're smart.
The Doctor said it's dangerous, so...
I just wanted Ian and Barbara to have time and space adventures on their own.
That would be fun. But anyway, Steven and Sarah see the Dalek ship arrive and they're like, let's go back and warn the Doctor, but they bump into a shit ton of Egyptians who capture them. And then the other Egyptians, like, rush to attack the Daleks, and they're just, exterminated left and right. And the Doctor has finished repairing the TARDIS. Then the monk actually arrives, and he's in his TARDIS is changed into a big stone. He pops out, he's like, oh, man, it's bright. Pops back in, pops back out with some sunglasses on.
I love the monk!
He looks pretty badass.
Which I would like to note, the monk, not actually a monk, just a monk for a disguise, has yet to change out of his monk clothes. Those have a name. Robes.
Robes.
But do they have like a more specific name?
Monk robes.
He has yet to change out of his monk robes.
But the Egyptians that have captured Steven and Sarah think that they're with the Daleks and that they're there to rob the tomb of its treasures. The tomb in the pyramid. And they're like, no, we're not. Can you let us go? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, alright. Why do we gotta get captured every damn episode? Gotta be tied up at least once every other episode. Anyway, the monk is just tooling around like, I'm gonna fuck with the Doctor, shit, and bumps into the Daleks and is like, oh, shit, Daleks.
Which the monk has heard of the Daleks by reputation, which I think is interesting. Because when the Doctor meets him, he's not heard of him before. So I wonder if they've started to gain a reputation since they've met the Doctor. Because they've gotten time travel since then. So, like, now they're kind of on the Time Lord radar. Or if he just knows of them as people who also meddle in time.
Mavic Chin's like, it's not a coincidence that you're here. You've got to be here for, like, a similar... Like, there's 3 time travelers here. Like, that's not a coincidence. And, like, Monk's like, yeah, I guess I'm here to see the Doctor, the 3rd time traveler. And he's like, are you here to help him? He's like, fuck no, he's an enemy. We're all on the same page
we
here.
both hate him, so
yeah, let's exterminate. Woo. He's like so like cowardly, and it's fantastic. They are like, well, to prove it, we want you, Mr. Monk, to get the Terranium from the Doctor.
They're like, could you gain his confidence enough to take that? And then he's like, yeah.
I think we should also mention the Doctor is listening into all of this. He's been following the monk for a while, since the monk arrived. So that happens, but then the monk is headed to the TARDIS, and the Doctor starts to follow him, but sees the monk's TARDIS, and is like, gets in, and like transforms his TARDIS through like a series of like vehicles.
Yeah, it turns, what else does it go through? Like, it turns into, like, a carriage at some point.
A motorcycle, like a big wagon, and then it looks like the...
It's a police box.
It looks like the Doctor's TARDIS. And he gets out and chuckles at his clever ruse, and then goes to track down the monk. Steven and Sarah untie themselves and attack, because they gotta do something. The Doctor and the monk get to where the TARDIS should be, but it's been moved into the tomb. And they go in, and the Doctor and the monk talk. The Doctor's like, you're gonna fucking betray me, or whatever, you know? What the hell, man? He's like, no.
I'm here to warn you.
He's like, then why didn't you open with that? He's like, because you were talking. I didn't want to be rude. Listen, just give me the Terranium. I'll give it to the Daleks. We'll be fine. We'll both be fine. The Daleks get what they want. You don't have to die. It's the whole thing. And then the Doctor's like, you trust the Daleks that much? You're stupid. You think that they'll be fine and let you go by giving them the Terranium? No, they're probably going to exterminate you. Which, to be fair, he's probably right. And the Doctor's like, it's not going to work. And then just like, I should actually put you out of play. And start poking him with this cane. Oh, by the way, the Doctor's wearing this hat now, by the way.
Yes.
We forgot to mention, he's wearing this hat. He's got his cane in his hat, and he looks super badass. He looks really cool. Not important to the story, but he looks cool. I like this look for the Doctor a lot. Anyway, he starts poking him, and like, Monk's like, stop it, what are you doing? And we cut away. Steven and Sarah show up, and like, where's the TARDIS? Where's the TARDIS? And they run into the tomb, and they find the TARDIS, and like, what's it doing in here? And then this sarcophagus opens, and a mummy hand pops out. Ba-ba-ba. That's the end of this episode. And we are now into episode 10, Escape Switch, which this episode exists, and is really good. Again, is it because it exists?
Probably. So
the mummy stands up and starts moaning, and they're like, well, let's just unwrap it. And it's the monk.
It's the monk, which they, like, once they figure out it's the monk, they let him out completely?
Well, he feeds them some story off screen, I think, is the thing. And he's like, they buy it, I think. Or
they don't seem like they do. They're, like, very, very suspicious of him. They don't care for him at all. But I guess they're like, you're mostly harmless. Like, you're not completely evil.
Yeah.
So, as long as you just leave us alone,
or at least
good.
help us find the Doctor.
Right.
And then they go to look for the Doctor, and Steven's like, Doctor! Doctor! And the monk goes, Doctor! Well, that's
useless. Can't find him.
Because he's afraid. He's afraid of bumping into the Doctor, and the Doctor being like, "What the fuck are you doing with him?" You know.
He's a great actor.
He is. And then they bump into the Daleks, and then the monk's like, "Caught these two for you, huh? Didn't get the Terranium, but I got these two, which should get you the Doctor. What do you say? Good deal? Good deal? We're okay. I'll go. Let me go. No, gonna capture me too. Okay, I don't want to die. Let's go with you guys." And then they all get tied up at the, Daleks' little, center of operations.
Steven is pissed. Steven is like, wow, we let you out. Like, we could have just left you there all wrapped up in like a mummy, and you went ahead and betrayed us. And the monk's like,
am I that good of an actor?
did I though? Did I betray you? Or did I save you?
Yes, that's what I did. They're going to use you as bait for the doctor. Which...
Instead of just killing you, like they were probably going to do until I convinced them not to.
I did this all for you. For you two. And they're like, you know what? I'm not buying your shit. He's like, it's not shit. Like, I almost believe to a certain degree he believes it.
I think so too.
There's like, even, they like sort of walk off and he's sort of like, they're like, we just can't trust your foolishness. Or whatever, and he's like, they walk off and he goes, me? Like, yes, you. And then Mavic Chin gets on the loudspeaker and then like calls out the doctor.
They get on the loudspeaker and then like cuts to these Egyptians who are like, did everyone else hear that?
That was some God shit there, right?
That had to be the voice of God. Like what else could it be?
There's one Egyptian's like, that's not a God. They would, if it was a God, they'd be talking
Making some sense.
No, the gods are gonna take these fuckers down. That's what he basically says. And then they're like, so we're going to attack them eventually.
We're gonna attack the Daleks.
But the doctor arrives.
They call them war machines.
That's weird. But the doctor arrives and is like, yo, I'll give you the Terranium. We'll set up a meet outside of the TARDIS. I just want Mavic Chin, and I want one Dalek. And that's it. And, you know, Steven and Sarah. And we'll make a swap. You know what? Maybe the monk, too. What the fuck ever.
Yeah, I do. He's like, I shouldn't care about, I don't care about him, but whatever, fine. Release him, too.
Yeah. And then there's this really good line where it's like, all right, well, they agree to it, and then one Dalek's going, and, like, Mavic Chin's like, you know, you're being awfully trustworthy or whatever, and the Dalek's like, one Dalek is enough to destroy all! But which doesn't make sense because later it's like more than one Dalek shows up.
They said two Daleks.
And then the doctor's like, the fuck? I said one Dalek. One. Can you count?
The doctor hands it over.
Yeah, the doctor gives them the Terranium.
The real Terranium.
Bolts. This is after Steven and Sarah and the monk are let loose, right? Or they're let loose at the same time, or whatever. Anyway, the Daleks are about to, you know, like, let's exterminate the doctor. But then they get attacked by the Egyptians. There's just chaos. The Egyptians start getting exterminated. There's a huge fight. Mavic Chin's running back to the Daleks thing with the Terranium. Just a big fight scene happens. The Egyptians stacked stones up against the Daleks. It doesn't make a lick of sense.
No, because
the Dalek's like, ah.
They stack stones behind the Dalek, and then suddenly it's stuck.
Not even in front of the Dalek, just behind the Dalek. The Team TARDIS gets the TARDIS, and they're like, you gave them the Terranium. We have to go back and stop them. And he's like, well, they're probably gone by now. But I stole the directional unit from the monk's TARDIS.
The directional unit!
And then Toni and I both look at each other like, is this what he...
This is it! This is the thing! This is the thing that will allow the Doctor to control where and when the TARDIS lands. He has it!
Yay! And then we get to see the monk arriving on an ice planet and vowing to get his revenge eventually.
Yeah, because he doesn't have a directional unit. He just has to wander now. Like the Doctor had to, but now he has one.
The Doctor has a directional unit. He's installing it and like, let's go. And then things flash weirdly because he's like, it couldn't... He does say, it could break the TARDIS or it could work.
Because it'll draw too much power, basically.
Possibly.
Then the TARDIS really has the ability to put out.
But Tony, you're like, whatever. He's got the directional unit now. He's going to be able to travel through time and space.
Because we know he does.
And that's the end of the escape switch, and we're on to episode 11. The Abandoned Planet. And the fucking...
Here's where I get bitter.
The directional unit burns out. It's burnt up. Doesn't work anymore.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the moment we thought it was.
And then the Terranium is put into the Time Destructor. Back at the TARDIS, they're like, well, it's probably happened. We're too late. We can't get to the planet now. What are we supposed to fucking do? Just jump around and hope we get there? And then they look out and they're like, oh, wait, we're on Kimball. It worked and then burnt out. So they're there. Yay. But still, I'm so pissed. Like, I thought this was going to be it.
You should have seen the excitement on both of our faces. Like, we were like, this is it, this is it, this is it. And then the disappointment when it wasn't. I mean, it is cool.
Yeah.
I enjoy this aspect of the show. I'm not ready to really see it go yet. But I just thought it was, that moment.
It was, briefly. This is what I was talking about earlier. It's, here's a thing that temporarily fixes the problem, but then we have Steven in the force field, briefly helps, but then you don't want to do it again. And then the same thing sort of happens with this directional unit. So, whatever. The council is super upset, by the way, you guys. They're like, what the fuck is happening? This is all bullshit. And one of them is particularly angry because he's replaced all the previously... No, not the cis guy, it's the egghead.
Egghead! I forgot about Egghead, because you don't see Egghead until, like, this moment.
Yeah, he's pissed. And so Mavic Chin just shoots him. He's like, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm in control. Everything's fine. I'm the greatest. Everybody loves me. Me. And he's like, goes to leave, and he's like, there's bars over the door, and he's like, I'll get someone to fix that. But guys, I'm amazing.
But, like, I think this is the point where it becomes pretty clear, if not to the council, to everyone else, that the Daleks do not intend for any of these guys to live.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. Which I remember saying early on in, like, the one-off episode. Daleks making alliances feels wrong to me.
You know what I felt like was happening, but I don't think it actually happened. I thought the Daleks left him in there, trapped him in there with the council, so that the council would fucking turn on him because he's, like, saying so much bullshit. And no one likes him anyway. And I figured the council was going to kill Mavic Chin. That didn't happen, and I'm a little disappointed in that.
Yeah, I kept waiting for the Daleks to be like, he's not useful anymore, and he's really annoying, so let's kill him. But they kept being like, keep him around.
For too long.
Until they didn't.
Steven and Sarah are, like, heading to the city, and then they realize, you know what, there's no Vargas plants here. What's up with that? Which I don't think is ever explained.
No.
And then they're like, also, where the fuck is the doctor? We've lost the doctor. And they can't find him. Well, let's go to the city anyway. And there's, like, nobody there. This city where, like, the council is. And there's nobody there. Where there used to be. There's no guards. There's no nothing. They go in the control room. They see the time machine. And they're like, what is up? Where is everyone? There should be Daleks here or something. And then the loudspeaker goes off. And it's the council. And they're like, who are you guys? We're trapped in this room.
Can you let us out?
So Steven and Sarah go to the cell where the Council of Silly Voices is. Just basically, they're just like, you know what? If you let us out, we'll hurt the Daleks for you. We got political power, and it's really cramped in here. We don't want to be in here. It's dark, and this guy smells weird, and I don't like prison. And then Sarah and Steven free them. They are awfully trusting of the villains.
Well, they're kind of like, I don't see what difference it'll make. Like, this is such a mess. There's so much going on. I don't see how it could make a difference one way or another. Fine. Because basically they're like, some of them probably won't do anything. But even if a couple of them, like, go and, you know, rally forces and come back, then that helps.
So they all sort of leave, and Mavic Chin's ship starts flying up and then explodes. And you're like, shit, Mavic Chin's dead, I guess. And then Steven and Sarah... Is this a Dr. Light episode, by the way? Because he's just not in it.
I guess.
But anyway, Steven and Sarah follow a Dalek, which is going into the mountain, underground, and they're like, of course.
Underground? Why didn't we think of that?
Because there was no reason to think of it. But that's where all the Daleks have went, is underground. And they start to follow it, and then Mavic Chin is not dead. He's like, I fooled you.
Which is like... You fooled us to make a reveal, like, 2 minutes later? Why?
But maybe he just wanted the Daleks to think he was dead? I don't know. I think he wanted the Daleks to think he was dead.
Okay, but then, like, 2 minutes later, he shows up to the Daleks and is like, hey, Dalek buddies. We're buddies, right?
That's true. That's, by the way, that was the end of the Abandoned Planet. We're in the last episode. You guys.
Oh, we come so far.
We're
so close to having done it.
We are in the destruction of time. By the way, at this point, we're like, just fucking end.
Right. Like, we're here. All the pieces are where they need to be. We've been watching this for weeks now. Like,
instead of, like, fluffing around for, like, oh, let's wander around a city that's empty. Could have just tightened this shit up and had it all happen in the last episode. But, you know, it's gotta be 12 parts, I guess. So they go into the mountain. Mavic Chin's, like, trying to impress the Daleks. Like, look at all the shit I've done. I'm awesome. Well, he wants to impress the Daleks, and Steven's like, that's a stupid idea. He's like,
Well, he's bringing
shut up.
he's bringing them Steven and Sarah, right?
Yeah.
As, like, prisoners. To be like, see? I'm still being helpful.
The Daleks are like, well, thanks for the prisoners, but you know what? Yeah, we don't need you. Take him to be exterminated. And he's like, what? He sort of is like, yeah, I brought you these things, and I'm so great. And that's his big downfall. He's like, you guys need me. I'm fantastic. I'm awesome. He should have been like, I did it for you guys. You guys are awesome. But he was more like, I did it. I'm awesome.
Right.
And the Daleks are like, we can't have that. You're too full of yourself. Daleks are the only thing that's great. Go exterminate him. They exterminate Mavic Chin, and it's pretty fucked up. I remember it being kind of good. Like, weird. Like, bad. Like, I don't know.
Well, like
emotionally,
like, he's like,
works.
no, you're not going to exterminate me. You're going to put me in charge. I'm in charge.
Yeah.
He's like, he's talking to the Dalek Supreme, and he's like, tell him.
Oh, the Daleks stopped talking, too.
Yeah. He's like, tell him to carry out my orders. And the Daleks just stop responding to him at all.
Yeah.
And then
another Dalek shows up, and he's like, what? Do this thing I say. And they just more and more start surrounding him and not saying anything.
Yeah, they, like, circle him and then kill him. Which, I will say, he has a lot of, like, lines about, you know, how is this, like, there's a lot of, like, back and forth between the Daleks and, Mavic Chen about, like, this is your fault. Actually, it's your fault. And every time he's right. He's always like, this is actually due to, like, Dalek incompetency. Like, how come you didn't check to see if it was fake before putting it in the machine? And he's like, I checked it when he got it back. There's 3 or 4 times where the Daleks are like, why didn't you do this? And he's like, actually, this is your guys' bad. Like, 3 or 4 times where the Daleks are just, like, blatantly incompetent. And it's, like, pointed out to them that they're blatantly incompetent. And they're like, go take him to be exterminated. I'm uncomfortable with this.
And then the Doctor shows up to Steven. He's like, I'm back now. And they're like, where were you? I followed a Dalek. Why? Anyway, just, Steven, take this key, take Sarah, get to the TARDIS, and I'm gonna fuck with this time destructor. But you guys get out of here. But he doesn't really fuck with it. He turns it on.
He just turns it on, you guys. He just straight up turns the thing on. That's his plan. His plan's to turn the time destructor on.
Oh, he uses a Dalek as a shield to get out of the room, too.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Which I suspect only works not because, like, they were afraid to shoot at another Dalek.
Well, they were afraid to shoot because they was going to explode the time destructor.
Right.
Which would be bad. They didn't want to kill everyone themselves.
Right. They didn't want to destroy their stuff.
And so he uses the Dalek as a shield, kicks the Dalek into the room and shuts the door, and they're all locked in.
This shit gets fucked up.
And then, like, Steven and Sarah bolted, and, like, Sarah's like, we should go back and help him. And Steven's like, no, he's coming. And then he runs.
Steven's like, I trust the Doctor. If the Doctor says, get out of the way, I'm gonna get out of the way.
But Sarah goes back to help the Doctor, and the Doctor's like, the fuck are you doing? No, I told you to go away. Go. Get away. Run. And then she's like, no, I'm here to help you. And then the Daleks get out, and they're chasing him down.
So, they're chasing him down, and there's all this, like, wind and storms and stuff.
And then Sarah starts aging.
And so does the Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them start just rapidly aging. But Sarah's is scarier. I don't know, man.
They almost get to the TARDIS, and, like, the forest, like, it's, you know, it's been a heavily forested area, is gone. It's just desert now.
It's just desert and dust. And there's, like,
he drops the time destructor and
he like,
falls
falls
down.
to his knees and is in pain and falls over. And Sarah
is, like, it's just, like, super old and, like, scary looking.
They cut away and they cut back.
And Steven tries to come out and, like, he sees it and, like, tries to deactivate it. And, like, it doesn't work. And he goes over to Sarah, and she's a fucking skeleton. I almost said skeleton.
You said skeleton.
She's a fucking skeleton. I just ruined the momentum of this fucking story.
Do you want to say it again?
No, leave it. It's fine.
And then her skeleton turns to dust and blows away.
It does.
This shit's gonna fuck me up for the rest of my life.
But yeah, like, Steven drags the Doctor onto tries to get the Doctor, and they both get onto the TARDIS, which I guess sort of fixes the Doctor. The Daleks show up and are not affected for a moment. And then they really are.
Right. Then they start to crumble and rust and die. And there's like a pulsating, which I mean, again, this is a reconstruction. So like what we watched is not the full effect. But there's like the squishy Dalek baby that's inside of a Dalek is like writhing and pulsating and dying. This shit's fucked up, man. Like, I don't think I could handle if this episode existed.
And just pretty much the entire planet is destroyed, basically. Everything's dead. And the Doctor and Steven go out once, like, it's run out of energy.
Yeah,
the training core is
used up the core.
And they go out and just, like, look at everything. The Doctor picks up a dead Dalek and look at this thing. It's fucking dead.
Super dead. All of the Daleks, super, super dead.
And they're both, like, really sad about Sarah, and I am too. Like, shit.
That one definitely, I mean, Sarah was around enough
to care about. I know we didn't really talk about her much, but, like, she was nice and stuff. Like, she had a good dynamic with Steven and the Doctor.
She was resolute in all the things she wanted to do.
And, like, she died trying to help the Doctor. Like, she went back to help.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the end. That's the end of Destruction of Time and the end of the Daleks Master Plan.
We did it.
Super fucked up.
It was like a really, really solid end to like a really uneven serial. Final thoughts. It's really uneven. There's a lot of great stuff in it, which I would say I want to say it makes it worth the watch. Maybe it makes it worth listening to a podcast where other people describe it to you. I have a hard time saying that this was like a bad serial, just because a lot of where it suffers from is the fact that it doesn't exist. And maybe if it existed, I wouldn't feel so harshly about it. Maybe it wouldn't be so hard to get through. Because, you know, there's been a lot of serials where I'm like, well, that was wobbly, but I enjoyed it the whole time. So yeah, but between being 12 episodes long, not existing, again, being 12 episodes long so that you're repeating exposition over and over and over again, it's not great. Then the episodes that do exist and the end are all pretty solid. So,
Yeah, I pretty much agree. It's too long. It repeats itself too much. If this was condensed, it would be great. Like, if this was maybe like, I'd even say like an 8-parter, it might have been better. Like, if you had 2 4-parters, basically, like the first half and the second half, maybe would have been better. It's still been too long. But are really good episodes that's surrounded by a lot of filler. I feel like you just combine 2 episodes in one episode. Like, just make it a 6-parter. Then it'd be fine. I know you didn't really care for the Feast of Stephen. I feel like I liked the Feast of Stephen just because I could get an idea of what it was more than, you know, I like enjoyed it for what it could have been. I enjoyed that episode even though it didn't exist because I could sort of tell what could have been. But there's some episodes that didn't exist that I didn't care for because I knew it was just boring exposition. So, like that entire Prisoner Planet episode, who gives a shit? No one.
No one.
And that's another thing I'll say. Katarina's death was poorly handled. But Brett and Sarah were a lot more interesting. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I didn't like super care about Brett dying, but I cared more than I did about Katarina. And Sarah, I really cared about.
Yeah, I really enjoy. It's weird because we didn't talk about her a whole bunch because she doesn't do much plot wise. She's just kind of there to be another member of Team TARDIS. But she's a good character. I don't know.
She's got a great name too, Sarah Kingdom.
Yeah, I feel in like a weird. You know that season of Buffy, like the first college season?
4.
Where it's like they don't have the library anymore and everything feels very sort of disconnected. And where are we going with this? That's how I feel about Doctor Who right now.
Yeah. Because
it's like we've lost... And like, we still have Steven, but still we've lost everybody we've started with, basically. The relationships. You know, like, I love Steven, but I really love Steven and Vicky, you know? Or I loved Vicky, but I really loved Vicky and Ian and Barbara all together. I like Steven and the Doctor, but it's... I don't know, we feel like very much in an in-between sort of spot in the show. And
it doesn't help this serial any... That not only is it repeating itself within, like... It's repeating the serial within the same serial, but it's also
it feels a lot like The Chase.
Feels a lot like The Chase and Mission to the Unknown. Like, I mean, I know this is a continuation of Mission to the Unknown, but it repeats a lot of it as well. Mm-hmm. And it repeats sort of the same setup of The Chase of, you know, Daleks chasing the Doctor, trying to get a thing, them trying to find a place to make a stand. It's all repetitive, and the only time it really shines is when it does something new, like let's have the Daleks and the meddling monk together. That's a very Davies thing, by the way, I felt like. But it worked. It was cool.
Let's bring everyone together for the season finale.
Yeah, but I liked it. I enjoyed that. I was like, it's cool. Like that we brought back this villain and this other villain, and they bump into each other, and like
how do they interact, and what's the power dynamic there? And yeah.
I was watching this, and I was like, I wish the monk could be a companion. That would be fun.
I want to see more of the monk. I hope we do.
I don't think we do, but.
Oh, I'd like to see him. We don't after all that. This isn't the last you've seen of me. I'd like to see him in, like, New Who. God, we gotta get caught up on New Who.
We do.
We're so far behind, it's not even funny.
But we had to watch this 12-parter.
Right, this has been our whole lives.
We spent 3 hours watching half of it last night. I feel like the show's trying to do more sort of darker endings in a way.
I feel like this serial was ridiculously dark.
I feel like they're under a new crew and stuff, or a new creative team, like producers and stuff. I mean, Terry Nation's been around, but I feel like maybe they're trying to see how far they can go now. Like, they're trying to expand and see, like, what the show's capable of.
There was a moment there when we were watching just, like, Sarah Kingdom just disintegrate, and that Dalek just writhing, that I was like, this is a kid's show. And I will say that I kind of hate that phrase, this is a kid's show. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm generally the first person to be like, quit limiting what that means. And so, like, the fact that I said that means that I was a little bit scarred.
Yeah, but I've heard that's what Doctor Who does sometimes.
I mean, yeah, that is what the show's kind of about, yeah. in a way.
Oh, this is like a small little aside. I think I heard somewhere that there's a docudrama called An Adventure in Time and Space, which is about William Hartnell's run as Doctor Who, as the Doctor and everything. There was going to be a scene where they show the filming of Sarah aging like that, and they were going to get the actress who played her, who's like, she's older now, and they were going to get that actress to play the aged version of
nice.
Of Sarah Kingdom, and I was like, that's really cool. And I'm not sure if they did film it and it got cut, or if it got cut before they filmed it, or what happened, but it's apparently not actually in the film, but it was an idea they had. And I was like, that's a really cool idea. I like that. And also, I'd like to just see that scene exist. But all in all, that was a really mixed serial. And
well, how could it not be, man?
It's 12 episodes
long. It was so long, it's gonna be a grab bag.
Some of them were great, some of them were bad. There were some that were just straight up I didn't care for.
Yeah.
Like the Prison Planet one, could have done without. Just entirely, because nothing really happened. Yeah, but that's it. That's the Daleks Master Plan. We did it.
That is finally the Daleks Master Plan.
Well, next serial we'll be doing is the Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve, but
You said Bartholomew.
The next serial we'll be doing is the Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve, but that will not be the next episode you hear. Next time, I know in the past couple of podcasts we've been like, I'm not sure when it is, but now I'm a little more certain. Next podcast is going to be our Christmas special, where we talk about Doctor Who and the Daleks. Every time we've talked about this before, it's been before we recorded it, but
now it's actually in the past. It has already happened.
So I can tell you who exactly is on it. We'll be back with Doctor Who and the Daleks. Drunk. We're pretty much all drunk. It's going to be me and Toni.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Cherry, drunk. Ray Friesen, a little drunk. Jez Lehman, not drunk. Vincent E.L., not drunk, but very sleepy.
Very, very tired. Pretty much the same thing.
And a special guest, Melissa from Malice Rewatches Doctor Who, who was actually one of our patrons on patreon.com/Watch-A-Thon. And she sort of watched the live blog with us, and then we're like, hey, you want to join in? And she was like, okay. I'm not certain of her drunkenness. I think she's a little drunk. I'm not sure. But look forward to that. And that'll be next time. But thanks for listening to the Watch-A-Thon of Rassilon. If you like our stuff, check out our website, watchyourrassilon.com. And
if you'd like to support us.
Yeah, if you'd like to support us, if you like the shit we do, Go to patreon.com/watchathon. There's a lot of cool rewards. And I guess that's it.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
See you next time on the Watch-A-Thon of Rassilon.
I'm so sorry.
Bye.
Doctor! Where are you? Doctor! Doctor! There you are, you see. You're wasting your time.